What is up, Internet? I'm back again. I'm right back at it. This is Warren's Vlog, episode 10, and I'm about to review Roadblock. Now, Roadblock was a WWE Network exclusive. It wasn't really a pay-per-view. It was kind of a glorified house show, but it's worth talking about. It had some pretty good matches, and it actually got me excited for WrestleMania because I tell you what, six good matches. One was a letdown, but six solid good work, solid good matches, and it just really got me in a WrestleMania mood. It got me really excited. So I decided to do a review and analyze it and rank it and do the whole gimmick I do every video. Alright, so let's get it started. This was held in Toronto, Canada. I'm not sure which building it was, but I'd imagine it was a small venue. But anyway, we kick off with New Day defending the tag titles against Sheamus and Barrett. For some reason, Wikipedia called him King Barrett. I didn't know he was going by that again. But this match kind of confused me because I couldn't tell who the heel was and who the face was. And it seemed like heel versus heel. That concept didn't really make a lot of sense. But the ring work was fantastic. I mean, Big E is always impressive. He always does good work. And Kofi Kingston's always enjoyable. Sheamus, and not so much. I'm a huge fan of Barrett. But all of them did really good work in that match. So I gave that a 3.2. Great way to kick off the show, I guess. Typically, I always say when you have an event, you want to have your face team go over, but I guess the New Day were face. They got cheered more. So, yeah, whatever. Chris Jericho versus Swagger. Before the match started, Jericho cut a really long-ass promo, and it was it really just drug on. I was entertained by the fact that he turned heel on Canada. That really entertained me. But it just drug on and on and on and on. I'm the best in the world at what I do. And what I do. And it just drug on. Like, it seemed like the promo was longer than the match. So Swagger interrupts him and comes out. And we get pretty solid work. Oh, and just to show you how irrelevant Jack Swagger is, Michael Cole had to bring up the fact that Jack Swagger beat Chris Jericho for the World Heavyweight title. Now, mind you, this was 6 years ago. Okay? So that's how irrelevant Swagger is. That the announcers actually had to bring up something from 6 years ago. Also, Jericho said something in his promo about putting his hand over his heart. And then it didn't really click until I saw Swagger and he had the shirt with the hand over the heart. Like, maybe that could have been a cue, or maybe that was a clue as in who he was wrestling. But Swagger tapped out to the walls of Jericho. And, again, you're not going to get a bad Jericho match. I mean, you can tell that he's getting up there in age, but as long as he's not in the ring with someone like AJ or faster than him, it doesn't get exposed. But you can definitely tell Jericho is a little bit, not even maybe a half a step, maybe a quarter of a step behind. But that happens with age. You know, it is what it is. So I gave that match a 3. A solid 3. Good work between both men. The Revival versus Enzo and Cass. Oh my God. This is an example of what a tag team match should be. I don't know too much about both these teams because I don't watch NXT regularly. But I was very happy to see it on a WWE show, and this match just stole the show. I'm going to tell you right now, spoilers are ahead for this video, this match was the highest rated match on the card. And I don't understand what Vince's problem is with NXT. Like, it just goes to show how behind the times he is. Like, Vince needs to wake up and realize that he's got a hell of a crop of talent down there in Florida, putting on badass matches every week, that he needs to start bringing up to the main roster. I really enjoyed the Revival's finish. Where it was like a flapjack into a code breaker. Although I think they hit it on either Cass or Enzo. I don't remember. It might have been Enzo, but they did that flapjack cutter or flapjack code breaker combination on the floor. And I questioned that spot, but other than that, everything was fluid, everything was fantastic, and you can't teach that. I gave that match a solid 4, without a doubt. Very good work. Then we go to Natalya defending the title, or Charlotte defending the title against Natalya. I guess originally it was supposed to be a non-title match, but then they had a backstage segment where Natalya was like, "Oh, are you a coward?" And yeah, so Natalya ended up getting the title match, and this match was good. I gave it a 3.3, but it's just not going to match up. Any match that they have is not going to match up to their match in NXT TakeOver. It's just not. I don't care how many matches they have. I think they had one on Raw one time. But I'm telling you, that match at NXT TakeOver, if you get a chance, go back and check that out. It was definitely worth watching, and I'll tell you right now, nothing they do is going to top that. But that being said, I gave this a 3.3. It was a solid match. Any time those two girls work, it is what it is. But you can't always duplicate shit. You know, it's just, you have one great match, and sometimes you just got to leave it at that. And the more you do it, the more you water it down. And I'm not saying that Charlotte and Natalya are anywhere near watering it down by any means. I could watch those two work a couple more times, but it's just not going to match up to their first encounter in NXT TakeOver. So 3.3 for that. Lesnar and Bray Wyatt, I was really looking forward to. I was like, because this is one of the matches that I've always wanted to see, and it was a letdown. I was just so disappointed by this. Bray Wyatt came out and said he made a deal with the devil that it would be himself and Luke Harper versus Brock Lesnar, and I'm like, oh, really? And now, don't get it twisted. I gave this match a 2.5 because I enjoyed watching Luke Harper. I enjoy Luke Harper. I could watch Luke Harper all day. But that's not what was advertised. And I know the card is subject to change, but I think Bray and Brock had a little bit of interaction with each other, and then most of the time it was just Luke working. And it was a bunch of German suplexes. Luke Harper got some super kicks off, a discus clothesline. Luke Harper actually got some offense on Brock, and, you know, Brock sold it, kind of. But next thing you know, it was an F5 and it was over. And I was just so upset with this. You know, Bray Wyatt was standing on the ramp just watching Luke Harper get his ass beat. And it just isn't what I signed up for. I signed up to see Brock Lesnar and Bray Wyatt, and I didn't get that. But I got to see Luke Harper work against Brock Lesnar, so that's why the match got as high as it did. It got a 2.5. Then we go to Stardust versus Sami Zayn. Now, I kind of figured they would put a match in between the Lesnar match and a Triple H match. Actually, before I go on with Stardust and Sami Zayn, I think with these network specials that Brock Lesnar is featured on, none of these matches with Brock Lesnar has been good. Like, none of them. Like, they did the Beast in the East, which was Brock Lesnar versus Kofi, and that might have been one of his better ones that was network exclusive. But I think that either ended on a DQ or it just ended with the New Day interfering, and then they all got F5'd and took the Suplex City. That was a waste of time. And then they had the Madison Square Garden one with Big Show, which, I mean, Brock Lesnar versus the Big Show, need I say more? That sucked. And then this one here with Bray Wyatt. I think they figure that they could just put Brock Lesnar against question mark and it's going to sell. Hell, they could put me against Brock Lesnar and people will still buy that shit because Brock Lesnar is on it. And yeah, people are going to buy it, but people like me are going to be critical. Like, okay, Brock Lesnar, I'm not just going to watch this shit just because Brock Lesnar's on it. Actually, Triple H and Dean Ambrose is what got me to watch this, not Lesnar. But still, come on. Stop. WWE needs to stop catering to their core audience and start concentrating on bringing in other people to get your product going. Because you have people who are network subscribers like me who are going to watch it regardless. You could have put Hornswoggle versus Heath Slater, and we're still gonna watch that shit because we're hardcore fans. Okay, we're good. You need to stop catering to us, and you need to start catering to other people to strengthen your product, to bring more revenue to your product, so your product can make more money. Stop plastering Brock Lesnar's name over shit and using just that alone to get people to bring people in. You know what I mean? Alright, so we go to Sami Zayn versus Stardust. An unrelated note, Stardust needs to just go back to Cody. I will give Cody Rhodes, Stardust, whatever you want to call him, I will give him credit. Every single gimmick that Cody Rhodes has ever had, he has ran with. He was a member of Legacy. He didn't really have a personality. He was just kind of there, but he still ran with it. He was tag team champions with Hardcore Holly. Then he turned heel, and I mentioned Legacy already. Then he was dashing. He got a mustache over. And then he was Stardust. And each gimmick that they have given him, he ran with it. And he has ran with the Stardust gimmick, but it's ran its course. He needs to drop it and do something else. Go back to Cody Rhodes. Go back to doing whatever. But despite that, I still enjoy watching Stardust work. I still enjoy watching Sami Zayn work. And those guys have a chemistry that you would not believe. And I would tell you to go back and watch this match. It was fantastic. Sami Zayn over, of course, with a hell of a kick in the corner. I gave that a 3.5. I mentioned a few minutes ago that I figured they would put something between a title match and between Lesnar, but I figured it would be like a bathroom break match or like a Divas match or something that, you could, if anything, hell, the Lesnar Luke Harper thing was a bathroom. It was a bathroom break match, if anything, with the exception of Luke Harper's work, which was amazing. But this Stardust Sami Zayn match was anything but a bathroom break match. This was a badass match, and if you missed it, you missed a good match. And it flowed in so perfectly after you watch Sami Zayn and Stardust to watch Dean Ambrose and Triple H. Now, Dean Ambrose, wow. I mean, Dean Ambrose kept up with Triple H which I guess that's not saying a lot because Triple H is 46 years old. Dean Ambrose is lower 30s. But Triple H was wrestling a clinic out there. He was wrestling a clinic, and Dean Ambrose was keeping up with him hold for hold, and it was a sight to see. There's never been a time when I was not unimpressed or unentertained by a Dean Ambrose match, and this match definitely delivered. I kind of like the false finish where Dean Ambrose actually got a 3 count on Triple H, but Dean Ambrose's foot was underneath the ring, and the referee count 1, 2, 3, but then the referee waved it off. That was the perfect false finish. I actually came out of my seat. I'm like, oh my God, Dean Ambrose just won the title. Nope. Yeah, he didn't win the title. But anyway, the match ended. I wasn't really a big fan of how it ended. Dean Ambrose had Triple H on the table, and he went over to the barricade behind the table. And as Dean Ambrose is climbing the barricade, you can see Triple H kind of position himself to get ready to move out the way. So I'm like, fuck, he's going to move out of the way. Dean Ambrose goes for the elbow drop. Triple H moves out of the way. Dean Ambrose just beats the 10 count. And then Dean Ambrose runs into the ring, eats a pedigree, 1, 2, 3. Like, I was hoping maybe for a kick out and then another pedigree, but I wasn't really a fan of how it ended. But solid match. I gave that a 3.3. He averaged it overall, and no, I'm sorry. I gave Triple H and Dean Ambrose a 3.9. If you average all the match ratings I have here, the average rating is a 3.3. This really got me excited for WrestleMania, despite the fact that it was a cock tease. This was like the same shit that they did in 2015 when they had the Fastlane main event. where Roman Reigns won the Royal Rumble, and you knew Reigns was going to go to face Lesnar at WrestleMania. You just knew that. But they had to throw a cock tease in there and put Daniel Bryan up against him to make us think that, oh, Daniel Bryan could beat Roman Reigns and go to WrestleMania, but no. And this is the same shit they did at Roadblock. You already know Triple H was facing Roman Reigns. It's a given. And Brock Lesnar and Dean Ambrose was already announced for WrestleMania. But no, we're going to throw a little cock tease in there. We're going to make the WWE Universe think that Dean Ambrose could possibly win the title, which they did a very good job at building Dean Ambrose up as a number one contender, as they always do. But you knew that Triple H was going to walk out champion, and you knew that Vince McMahon was not going to change his WrestleMania main event. This is not 2014. This is not WrestleMania 30. That type of shit does not happen all the time. Okay? It happened that one time, but it'll never happen again. Well, and people argue that they had Seth Rollins cash in too to please the IWC, but you know, neither of those WrestleMania main events is confirmed that we did that. We can say we did it if we want to, but Vince McMahon and the WWE made the decision to go with that plan. So, but anyway, solid show. I'm excited as shit for WrestleMania. Let me tell you. Let's see, we got what? 1, 2, 3 Raws left before Mania. So, shit's starting to get hot, man. I'm waiting to see Undertaker and Shane McMahon in the ring at the same time. It seems like they're trading weeks. So maybe tomorrow we get Taker. But I'd like to see the two of them meet before the go-home Raw of WrestleMania. But yeah, this has been WWE Roadblock, or my review of it anyway. I'm Warren E. Freeman Jr. I didn't introduce myself at the beginning of the video, but y'all should know who I am by now. I do wrestling reviews. I do, I did Fastlane this year. I just did Roadblock. I'm going to do a WrestleMania 32 prediction video, and I'm going to do a WrestleMania 32 review video. I also do old WWE and WWF pay-per-views. So, if you have any requests, comment at the bottom. If you have any comments about Roadblock, comment at the bottom. I'm Warren E. Freeman Jr. I'm a admin over on Yes Wrestling. You can find me on Twitter at @BlackReaction89, Instagram WEF1989. Find me on Yes Wrestling on Facebook, or search my Facebook personal profile, at Warren E. Freeman Jr. Anyway, I'm Warren. This has been episode 10 of Warren's Vlog. Good night.